Hello, thank you for tuning in. Today we're talking about how to stay calm when your adult child triggers you. When you are on this journey, you are bound to be triggered sooner or later by something they said or done. Have you ever had the moment with your adult child where something small turned into something big, just unnecessarily? Maybe it was something they said or did or the tone they used, and before you know it, you felt triggered. Your emotions rose, and then afterward you was left thinking, why did I respond like that? Or I wish I had done different, right? If that's you, you're not alone. And today I want to walk you through how to stay calm in those moments without shutting down and without reacting in a way that you regret later. But first, we need to understand the trigger. Let's talk about what's actually happening in those moments. When your adult child triggers you, it's usually not just about that moment itself, is it? No, it's layers to it. It can be built up emotions, fear, disappointment, feeling disrespected. So when something happens, your reaction is coming from more than just that one interaction. And that's important to recognize. Because if you don't understand that, you will keep thinking, why do I keep reacting like this? But it's not random. It's an accumulation of things. So, as parents, we need to understand that not every emotion deserves agreement. And what is agreement? Your reaction to something. How many of you know we want to respond, not react? Sometimes when you react, that's showing agreement. Here's something that helped me, and I want you to really hear this. Just because you feel something doesn't mean you have to act on it. Not every emotion deserves your agreement, which is your reaction. You can feel frustrated, angry, or even fear and still choose a different response. That's where your power is. It's in how you choose. Because your first feeling may be automatic, but your response is still a choice. I want to speak on James. It's coming. James, the first chapter and the 19th verse. James 1 and 9. Okay, hold on a second. I'm sorry, it's the 19th verse. James 1:19, and it reads, "Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath." It doesn't mean you won't feel anything. It means you don't have to move according to your emotions. To hear that again, we are to be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to be angry. So, with that being said, let's learn how to slow down the moment after you are triggered. So, what do you actually do in that moment? We're going to make this very simple and practical. When you feel yourself getting triggered, one, I want you to pause before responding. Even if it's just a few seconds, you don't have to answer immediately, and you don't have to match their energy. And actually, I prefer you didn't match their energy. Please don't. It only makes things worse. 2, breathe and ground yourself. That might sound simple, but it does matter, and it helps because your body is reacting too, not just your thoughts. You can just take a moment to breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. And do it a few times. before saying anything. Then 3, ask yourself one question. Ask yourself, what response will I feel at peace with later? Not right now, but later. That question alone can shift everything. Let that sit for a moment. So parents, let's talk about the energy. You don't have to match your child's energy. One of the biggest traps is this. They come in with intensity and we match it. They're frustrated, we become frustrated. They're sharp, we become sharp. And now the situation escalates. But peace doesn't work that way. Peace doesn't mirror chaos. Peace is steady, even when the other person isn't. And that doesn't mean you're weak, it means you're grounded. And we're behaving the way our Father wants us to as parents. Now, don't get me wrong, that doesn't take the responsibility off the adult child. I'm not saying that, okay? But we can't govern them. We govern ourselves, right? Next, discernment. We have to discern without intensity. Not every reaction needs to become a battle. Sometimes it's not about fighting something. It's about not agreeing with it. Don't agree with the tension. Don't agree with the disrespect, the emotional pull, meaning you don't give the same energy. We don't do that. You can choose not to come into agreement with that moment and instead stay aligned with peace. And this keeps your spiritual layer present without being heavy. So what about after? After the moment that you are triggered, let's talk about that. Sometimes you don't respond the way you wanted to. Even after everything I'm teaching, sometimes we still might slip up, right? And that's real. If that happens, don't stay stuck there. Don't replay it over and over. Don't tear yourself down. Instead, I want you to reflect, learn from it, and release it. You will have more times and more chances to do better. Remember, you're growing in this. This is not about perfection. It's about progress. You are navigating something that is emotionally complex. This journey is not easy. You're loving your child while also still trying to stay grounded yourself. And that's not easy. So give yourself some grace for even wanting to respond differently. That alone is growth. So parents, the next time you feel triggered, I want you to pause, breathe, and remind yourself, I don't have to respond at the level of my emotion. And I will not match energy. You can choose peace, and you can choose a response that you won't regret later. And over time, that changes the entire dynamic. So if this spoke to you, let me know in the comments. What tends to trigger you the most? You're not alone in this, and sometimes just naming